Morning, happy Monday and welcome to Keeping It Minimal. So today's video is all about storage containers. So I'm going to show you a couple of alternatives for sandwich bags and cling film, and also some ways to avoid buying extra plastic kind of filmy packaging at the shops, and also how to store leftover food with a lot of simple things that you probably already have around your house. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I'll start off with the sort of sandwich bag question. So my partner, he has a sandwich every day that he takes to work. Many people do the same, and we really wanted to kind of cut down and avoid all these sandwich bags that you're constantly buying. He must use something like 250 sandwich bags a year. So it makes quite a difference. Also, when our son was going to a childminder, we provided him with lunches, and so that was meaning, you know, an extra 3 bags sort of a week, or a sort of separate sandwich box. And so I actually found a really good alternative for these, which I love. I much prefer them to sandwich bags. They're much easier to use, and it's these little guys. So this one's from Planet Wise. I got this specifically for my son because it's got cute little foxes on it, and what it has is a little Velcro opener here, and you can open it right out, and the outside is cloth and the inside is a type of plastic, and all you do is you pop your sandwich in there, fold in the sides, fold up the bottom, and use the little Velcro at the top to close it up. Now, one of the things that I really enjoy about these, not just the kind of amount of plastic waste that we are saving from going in the bin, but also, you know, when you've got kids, you actually end up going out a lot to maybe the play park or out for days out where you carry your own lunches. You might even go to a sort of area or a cafe where you can sit down and have the lunch you've bought. And what this really provides, which I think is great, is once you've opened it out and you've got your sandwich in the middle, you actually have a surface for your child to eat off of, whether it's in their lap or whether you just put it on the table, to make sure there's nothing, or on a high chair if they're sitting in a high chair that's kind of borrowed from a restaurant. They can have this surface where you can put their sandwiches and their snacks, even a bit of fruit on there, and that stops it from kind of going on the table or a surface, and it keeps it sort of all together. And then you just wrap it back up, pop it in your bag, and take it home. So that's a Planet Wise one. We have another alternative that we've got here, which is Wrappy, they're called, and these are made from recycled plastic. They're exactly the same idea, a bit of Velcro keeps them shut, but these ones are circular, so you open them up and they're like a big plate. I mean, our son really likes to kind of eat off of these as well, and it's just everything's there. You don't have to fuss about moving things onto a plate or anything. So that's a sort of sandwich wrap, and this here is a bag of freezer bags that I've had probably for about 2 years, and there's over half left in that. So that's helped us really cut down on plastic in terms of lunches. The other alternatives, of course, for your lunches is you could use containers such as these ones. You can put in the freezer. I have a lot of soup. I make soup a lot for lunch, so I tend to use a lot more of this kind of thing, or a flask if I've just made it. I'll take it in that. And so these are great. Also, where these come in really well is for your leftover food. Now, I think most families probably have some form of plastic boxy container that they have. So just, it's an idea to use these instead of using this little gem to cover up your leftover food. Another alternative that I like to use when we're talking about leftovers is a good old bowl and a plate, and you can just pop that on the top there, and it keeps relatively fresh in the fridge for a day or two before you eat it. Good thing about this is you can just take that out and put it straight in the microwave if you use a microwave, or you can just pop it in. If it's something you can eat cold, you just eat it. So that really, really works for me. The other thing I really wanted to go into was how to avoid buying lots of these kind of plastics in the first place, like film type plastics. I mean, a lot of them are unavoidable, and it's really, really convenient to have individually wrapped things, and I'm not sort of denying that. But one way that you could cut down is to save. What I do is save up big jars. So this used to be a huge jar of peanut butter, and this was a big jar of coffee, and this was a big jar of beetroot. So these bigger jars are pretty handy. We are actually really, really lucky that our local greengrocer has quite a lot of dried things that you can buy. You can take your own containers, they weigh your containers and fill them up for you, and that's absolutely brilliant. So instead of me buying a bag of rice in plastic, I fill the containers, and the other good thing about that is that you can actually just buy as much as you need. Often we'll have a bag of rice that'll sit in there for like a month, and we don't really need it to be there for that long, so we tend to fill up a jar, and it's a lot easier. This one's got oats in it, this one's got lentils, and the other thing they also do is fill up spices as well, so we can take our spice jars there and get those filled up, rather than buying additional new jars and or some little sachets of spices. So that's really, really, really helped us kind of cut down on our waste that way, which is really good. And as I say, if you're only buying as much as you need, you actually save money in the long run because you're not actually having to spend as much. So the other tip I can give you for cutting down on those kind of things is to buy bulk, which is the complete opposite. So you could go to somewhere like Costco or Booker's or wherever you've got a membership, or even to bigger supermarkets or the web, and order bigger quantities, and that'll sort of help you through saving a little bit of plastic. And if you save up your wee jars like this, you can just fill them up. So that's all I've really got for you on containers. Some of the things will be like super obvious, some of the things you've never seen, like the sandwich wraps. You can also get bags that are like the sandwich wraps as well. I find the wraps slightly easier because they're just completely open. I feel they're dual purpose, having that sort of plate aspect things. But there's certainly lots and lots of alternatives. The other alternative to cling film is the beeswax wraps as well, which are really, really popular and really great. I've never actually had one because I've not needed to get one, but it's something that I've kind of thought about having out of interest for things like cheese. So yeah, that's sort of all I've really got for you today on the containers, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers now, have a good day, bye!